Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're going to talk about something pretty ambitious, how the entire nation of Oman is deliberately redesigning its future, shifting from a history built on oil to a new era built on code.
Okay, let's just dive right in. For the longest time, when you thought of Oman's economy, you thought of one thing: oil and gas, hydrocarbons. But now, the country is making a massive pivot, consciously turning its attention to a totally new horizon: the digital world.
And let me be clear, this is not just some minor tweak or a small course correction. We're talking about a fundamental rebuild of Oman's entire economy and society, all driven by a really clear long-term strategy.
So, what's steering this massive ship? Well, it all comes down to one single master plan. It's called Vision 2040, and it's the comprehensive roadmap for building a more diverse, sustainable, and knowledge-based country for generations to come.
So, a vision that big, how do you even measure it? How do you know if you're on track? Well, Oman's answer is a number. A very specific, very ambitious number that really defines this whole blueprint.
Okay, so where are they starting from? As it stands today, the digital part of their economy, all the tech, the e-commerce, you name it, makes up about 2% of their GDP. That's the baseline.
But here's the wild part. The goal is to grow that 5 times over, to take it from 2% all the way up to 10% of GDP by the year 2040. I mean, that is a huge, huge leap forward, and it's the single metric they're using to measure success.
And this is how they're planning to do it. It's not just one thing, it's this whole national digital economy program. And look at this list. It covers everything. You've got the basics like digital government and infrastructure, but also the really futuristic stuff like AI, a space program, and even fintech. It's a full court press.
And look, to make sure this isn't just some goal that sounds good on paper, they're getting serious about tracking it. They've launched this brand new, first-of-its-kind national survey just to measure exactly how they're doing. It's all about turning that big vision into cold, hard data.
Okay, so you have the blueprint, but a plan is just a piece of paper without a solid foundation, right? For Oman's digital future, that foundation is all about one thing: world-class connectivity.
And they are not messing around. They've been super aggressive with their 5G rollout, and get this, they've already hit 98% population coverage. That's incredible. Just one telecom company there has over 1 million people on its 5G network already. So how'd they pull this off so fast? This is the really clever part. They didn't just build new stuff, they made a super strategic move. They shut down their old 3G network completely. That freed up all this valuable spectrum, which they could then redeploy for the much, much faster 5G technology. Smart, right?
And this wasn't just about getting faster internet. It was also a green move. By shutting down that old, power-hungry 3G tech, they're set to save over 2 million kilowatt-hours of energy every single year. That's a big deal. But you might be thinking, what about the really remote places? You can't put cell towers everywhere. Well, to make sure nobody gets left behind, they've licensed satellite internet services like Starlink. The whole idea is to prevent a digital divide and make sure even the most rural communities are part of this transformation.
So you've got the pipes, right? The infrastructure. But here's the thing. You can have the fastest internet on the planet, but if people don't trust the system, it's all for nothing. A digital nation needs a framework of trust, and that comes from having the right laws.
And this is something they've been working on for a long, long time. This wasn't an overnight thing. You can see on this timeline, they started building this legal framework over a decade ago, with a cybercrime law way back in 2011. It's been a methodical, step-by-step process.
And the real crown jewel of all this is their new Personal Data Protection Law from 2023. This is huge. It basically aligns Oman with global standards, meaning companies need your explicit permission, your okay, to use your data. And it gives you, the individual, real power, like the right to say, hey, delete my info. It's about putting you back in control.
So when you step back and look at the whole picture, you start to see how all these pieces, the big vision, the physical tech, the legal rules, they aren't separate things. They're all parts of one big, well-designed machine. It really boils down to this super clear 3-pillar strategy. First, you've got the vision, that big, audacious 10% GDP goal. Second, you have the foundation, the actual hardware, the nationwide 5G, and the satellite coverage. And third, you have the trust, that modern legal framework that makes it all safe and secure for everybody.
When you put it all together, this isn't just about Oman catching up. This is a calculated plan to lead, which leaves us with one massive question to think about.
With a blueprint this solid, are we watching Oman build the region's next digital capital?